All right, hello again, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Jason Stapleton, and this is the Forex Market Preview. No video today because I'm actually moving my offices from my upstairs office to my lower, sound new studio. It's always been a studio down here, but I'm moving actually all the office down here, and I'm going to do some refiguring and things like that. And so hopefully here, before too long, I'll be able to show you guys some video and take you kind of a tour around the new studio down here. But until then, you guys are just going to have to do without seeing my beautiful face. Let's go ahead and kick this off. I want to go ahead and take a look at a couple of things with you as we move into this week of trading. The first thing we're going to look at is Aussie dollar. Now, I'm going to take you out. First of all, let me remind you of what happened last week. I see a little arrow here that I pointed it back up into the previous structure resistance zone, and I said, keep an eye out on this. I said the market is oversold on the daily chart. We'll take a look at that. And I said, look for a potential rally last week up into this zone. I said, I don't know that it will rally, but I said we're oversold, so be looking for that push back up. And if you get that, it's going to be a nice shorting opportunity to move lower. Now, that didn't actually happen. Now, the key point that I'd like to make here is that this is the difference between simply looking at a market and saying, oh, it's oversold, it's got to rally. It has to rally here soon, and going ahead and taking a long position and waiting for the market to give you the signal to prove to you that, yes, in fact, it is going to rally. And in this case, we never saw it. It just continued to go lower and lower and lower. But if we go out to the daily chart here, what you're going to see is this was where we were looking at last week as the market, boom, and we've got nothing but red candles, and the market now sits at an RSI of 8, which is buried. The RSI is buried. And what we would expect, we're still expecting a rally. We just don't know where it's going to come from. It looks most likely like the rally is going to come from this area down here. Now, why is that? I marked this out. Let's look left. All the way back here to, this would be June of 2012. We had the spike low. That is the next support level that we have here on Aussie dollar. So if this market, it's highly likely here that this market's going to come into this zone, find an area, and then pop right out of it. Now, this is about a 100 pip zone or so. It's about 9,700 to, 9,600. So roughly 100 pips in here that we could find that potential reversal zone. So the way we do it, we put it on our daily chart, we eyeball it, and then we can come down to our trading time frame, and we can say, all right, as this market drives down, what am I looking for here? Am I looking for the double bottom bullish divergence? Am I looking for a 3-candle reversal pattern? What am I using as my entry technique, my entry signal, so to speak? And guys, there are a multitude of ways to do that and to do it effectively and to do it profitably. But basically what we're looking for is a major support level as the market comes back down into an extreme oversold situation, and certainly that's going to happen somewhere in here. I find that highly probable. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Let's take a look at Canada. Guys, Canada has basically put in a nice little 3 drives pattern here and has recently broken the most recent structure highs back here. The market then pulled back immediately, and boom, we're now sitting at a potential trend continuation trade. So those of you who are trend continuation traders, just keep an eye out for this because we may be seeing another spike as this market continues to move higher. As you see the RSI, boom, boom, we're making new highs, higher highs on the chart. We are not making higher highs on the RSI. So again, potentially, could be looking at a reversal here, but I find that less likely given the fact that we've just broken through the previous structure resistance level. Let's take a look at the euro. Had a pattern here that we were looking at last week that ended up never fulfilling. And this was just a really, really tough week or really, really good week for the dollar. Dollar gaining strength, really across the board here as we look at most of the dollar crosses. So the next situation is, what are we looking for? What should we be looking for next as a potential trading opportunity? Well, if we violated the structure support levels here, the trend continuation trade would say, well, once we get back up into there, we need to be looking to sell. But there's another trade here. Let's look left, again, finding the next support level. So we're going to find this level back in here somewhere, right around 127, 128, oh, I'm sorry, 127.50s, 127.80s, right in here. And then we're going to look at our continuing downward move. Now, if I take a look, and this is going to be a little bit more advanced for some of you, if I take a look at the last inverted leg, that is this leg of the move, boom, to there, from high to low, I'm basically going to look, because we've just had a nice little press down here, boom. Well, I want to try and figure out, do I have a Fibonacci level in here somewhere that I could potentially, look for a rally out of? Well, since I don't have anything to really do a Fibonacci extension off of here, what I can do is I can look for the last inverted leg, and I can run a Fibonacci inversion off of that. So I'm going to go swing high to swing low and back in, and take a look down there at the bottom. Look at where that 1618 extension comes in. If I just draw in a horizontal line here and we drag left, you're going to see that that line comes in right along that structure support level. And again, I think that this is probably going to be a very good place to look for a potential long opportunity. So as this market presses down, if we do continue to see a lower low down into 127.75s, I'm going to be looking for a long entry here. That's flat out. We're going to be at a point where we're going to look for a rally. And in this case, if I consolidate this chart up, this is a bearish market. We broke by breaking structure here. We now have a bearish market as the market presses down. This was a nice little rally out of there for the euro, but now the dollar right back into gaining strength. However, there's money to be made in these major support levels. So if you're a counter trend trader, you're looking for a way to take advantage, that's going to be about as good an opportunity as you're going to get. So just keep an eye out for that level and see if we can't find some way to enter that market. Aussie yen, this is one from last week. This is a Gartley pattern that's set up. Hit the 120. We were looking for the 127 extension. I was showing you guys expectation here is that we rally out of this. Well, we didn't get as direct a move down as I outlined here, but clearly market came right back down into, boom, that 127 extension, and now the market has rallied out of that. And at the end of last week, on Friday, we actually did hit target 1 right there. So target 1 attained on that. That would have been an entry price around 99.87 with profits out at 150. So nice little bundle of cash there for you guys. Let's look at New Zealand yen. This is one we looked at last week as well. I said watch the channel and look for the breakout. No matter which way it goes, whether it breaks out up or breaks out down, there's a potential opportunity here to make money. And what we see here is that this market has broken out to the downside, and there are two ways to play this, guys. If this market has a potential to carry a lot further lower, possibly all the way back down into 81.26s. Or we could even get even lower than that. But, I mean, seeing this market run out a little ways here would not be down into 82s, down into 81 area. It would not be out of the realm of possibility. You also have to look at the pattern setup that has occurred here as well, because you actually have a bat pattern here. So those of you guys who are pattern traders who are like, yeah, Jason, I don't really get into all of that, those wedge breakouts and stuff like that. I'm just strictly a pattern trader. Well, here's your bat pattern, and it's happening right now. This is your buy on the bat pattern. Bat pattern would have been an 886 buy. If I bring in my Fibonacci retracement, swing low to swing high, let me drag in my 886. You're going to see right there at 82.93s was your buy. Market set up right along that zone and now has had a little pop up out of there. Although we haven't gotten, it hasn't confirmed a move higher yet. So we'll have to see into this week whether or not we can get any continuation out of that potential bat pattern, but it's there, it exists. And that is roughly it for this week, guys. I mean, there's just not. I've got a couple of trades there that I'm showing you on kind of zones to be looking out for potential buying opportunities. But if I run down here, and this is what I say when you talking about pattern trading, some of our best pattern trades come out of some of these like obscure pairs, or not obscure, but these, I guess, secondary pairs in the market, like Aussie Canada, Pound Aussie, Pound New Zealand, stuff that you just don't. They're not in the five majors. They're more minor pairs. But look at what we've seen over the last couple of weeks here. Market's just been very directional. Look at the Aussie New Zealand, very directional. Euro Aussie, very directional. Euro Canada, again. We go Euro New Zealand, directional. Pound Aussie, directional. Pound Canada. Got a little bit of pop out of this one, but we got no pattern setting up here. Pound New Zealand, directional. So when we start looking at this stuff, you know, it becomes apparent to us that, hey, look, we're just this is a situation where we're gonna have to sit on the sidelines, because if you're a pattern trader, you've got to wait for that consolidation. Now, the good thing is that markets are in trend about 30% of the time. So this just happens to be part of that 30%. We've managed to catch a run where a lot of our normal players are out due to the fact that they're in trend. What we'll find is that 70% of the time, 60 to 70% of the time, those markets are going to be in consolidation, and that's going to give us our opportunities. So one of the things we can do in situations like this, we're on a 4-hour chart right now. I try and do 4-hour charts, daily charts, to give you guys time to kind of do the analysis with me. But you can drop down to those 15-minute charts, the hourly charts, the 5-minute charts if you guys so dare, if you guys want to play the day trades on the patterns. And guys, they're just as profitable down there. You can make just as much money and have just the same amount of accuracy on those 5-minute charts as you can on these 4-hour charts. So if you're needing more action during the week, if you're like, hey man, I've got time, I'm in a position where I can trade, drop down to those 15 minutes, drop down to those 5 minutes, start doing your same analysis the same way we do it here every single week. Now, last update for you guys. I mentioned to you last week, all you syndicate members, about the new software that's coming out that we're going to be giving to all of you guys, and about how we're going to be allowing some of you to contribute to a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week pattern feed, where we just, we're just sending out patterns to you guys all the time. So if you guys are sitting at your desk, you're at work, you're at home, wherever you're at, and you're like, hey, I don't really have this pattern thing licked, but I'm trying to learn, and that's why I've joined the syndicate. Well, not only are you going to continue to get the videos, not only are you going to continue to get the training, but you're also going to get a slew of trading opportunities throughout the week that are going to be sent to you live, real time, in the software piece. I'm also preparing some midday reports and some of that type of stuff that I want to start getting out to you guys too. Basically, we're going to be massively expanding the syndicate program, and I told you guys last week that my developer had me on kind of a 2-week timeline. He said, yeah, I should have a beta version to you in about 2 weeks. Well, it's been a week. I checked with him last week, and he's still on schedule. So I'm hoping that by the end of this week, I will have something beta to show you guys within, shortly after the next Forex market preview. So again, don't hold me to it. Coders are coders. If you ever had to work with developers on stuff, an issue comes up that nobody could have anticipated. But right now, we're very, very close to that, and I'm really, really excited about it. So, and again, there's no additional cost to that for you guys. It's just coming to you as part of your syndicate membership. So, if you're not already a syndicate member, why not? Sign up, guys. It's $20. It's $20. That's it. And you get, a whole bunch of extra training. You get kind of get to come inside the circle. You get to hear from Akil and I, and what we're doing. And pretty soon, you're gonna have a chance to get what is essentially a pattern signal service delivered to you in real time, where your peers can share what they're seeing throughout the charts, no matter what time of day you are, no matter where you're at in the world. We're gonna have traders from all over the world sharing their information. So that's all I got for this week, guys. Until next time, good luck and good trading. I will talk to you soon.